Hi guys, so today we will be making seafood gumbo with chicken and andouille sausage added in as well. So right now, prior to recording, I have cut up my andouille sausages and I just put them in this pan and let them simmer on their own and produce their own grease. And y'all, these sausages are great. They're always full of flavor and they have a little mild spice to them, which is perfect for gumbo. I just removed the sausages from the pot and you see me adding in 2 1/2 cups of flour just to start my browning and my base for the gumbo. I'm gonna let this flour sit here and brown a little bit more before I do anything to it. I'm just gonna continue to stir it around in this pot until all of it's browned all over and at least it has that little brown tint. I'm not gonna brown it too much because I still have to add other stuff to this, but I do want to create it and get it a little brown. So it's about the brown color I like it to be, and I'm just gonna add in some canola oil is what you just seen me do. And now you kind of see the color of the base a little better because I've added that all in. And as you can tell, it has started to clump up, which is fine. To fix this, if you do experience this, just add a little more oil, but be mindful as you're adding. I would add slowly to check the texture of it just because you don't want to add too much. So I'm just going to add just a little bit more and give it another mix around to see how I like it. And if it's what I do and I like, I'll just move on to the next step. But as you see, it is still clumpy up. So I'm going to add some more canola oil in it and hopefully this does the trick. This is an auto recording, so I am doing this after I prepared the meal. And after adding that last bit of oil, it's kind of at the texture that I like it to be. So I'm just going to let this sit here and cook and continue to brown for about 5 to 10 more minutes, checking on it, making sure it's becoming darker each time I come back and check. So I'm just going to add clips of it browning just to show y'all the stages of brown you want. The color you want, sadly to say, is dookie brown, but y'all, you needed that color. And if you've seen gumbo, it's not a light color. This is what you're looking at now is the color of gravy, and we are now making brown gravy. We are making gumbo, so let it brown some more. This right here is still not dark enough, y'all. Let it brown a little bit more. Y'all see that brown at the bottom of the skillet as I scrape it? That's the brown you want it to be. So it's almost there. Almost there. Just let it cook a little bit more. Be patient. You don't want to rush it because if you rush it, you run the risk of burning it and you will taste the burnt flour taste in your gumbo and you don't want that. Trust me. So just keep it at like a medium to low temp while you're doing this process of burning to avoid that. Now, y'all, this is the dookie brown color you want. I have added in some chopped onions that I chopped prior to recording, and that is completely fine. Just let that onion mix up. Those onions are getting the stuff from the bottom of the skillet, and that's what you needed to do. So right now I have added in celery. I chose to add in the onions first because they take a little longer to cook. So after the celery, I'm going to dump in some bell peppers because they fairly cook really quick. And I'm just going to let that brown, y'all. This is, like I said, clips of me doing it. So it's not happening as fast as it looks like it's happening in this video. So it is not in real time. Keep that in mind as well. And it's still clumpy, but that's completely okay. What you're going to do next is add your chicken broth, and that chicken broth will break it up. And that's all you needed to do. I'm going to switch to a whisk because a whisk makes it a little easier to work with and stirring and breaking up the clumps and keeping it not so lumpy. So I'm just going to add a little at a time, whisk it up, and then add a little more just to keep it from clumping in. Y'all be mindful. Be extremely mindful because you don't want clumps. Clumps are a little harder to work at. So trust me, do this step exactly like I'm telling you. Add in some broth, mix, add in just to avoid overworking yourself. Because y'all, unless y'all got a strong arm whisking this stuff, take some time, some arm power, and some energy. Y'all, I was so tired after just sitting here whisking it up. It's so ashamed of me. But just be whisk it up and add it. And I am going to add a lot because it is thick and you don't want it to be this thick yet. You want it to be fairly thin because you haven't added in all of your vegetables, all of your dry seasoning, and on top of that, you haven't added in your meat. So if it's thick like this, y'all, that's not right. That's gravy thick. You need it to be a little bit more thinner in the end. So just add a little more chicken broth to it and add until it's like a thinner consistency. You will be able to tell. You don't want it entirely water thin, but you don't want it gravy thick as well. So just add in. I will do the recipe and the measurements to my best abilities in the things below because y'all, I kind of just cook listening to the guys and gods above and by eyes. So making videos of cooking and sharing my amazing food with y'all is going to be something that's different because I do everything by eyes. If it looks like it's enough to me, that's what I go by. And at the end, I taste it. And normally by me tasting it, I can definitely tell what's missing. So that's how I cook. If you don't cook like that, sorry to you. That's just what I do. And then I'm adding some bay leaves. These are fresh bay leaves and they're not dried. I mean, they are dry leaves, but they're like the fresh ones. They were kept within the refrigerated section. I'm adding so many because these are so small. And I'm going to just let these cook in because, y'all, the flavor that all the different herbs add in mixed together is amazing. And it smelled so good as I started to add in and let the herbs cook in together. I will include a list of all the herbs and the dry seasonings that I use down below. So once again, y'all, don't forget to check the comment box. And y'all, when y'all are clicking this comment box, don't forget to subscribe to my channel and give me feedback, y'all. I love feedback. I love it. I know y'all are watching these videos, so y'all just do me a favor and hit that little subscribe button. That's all it takes is to hit it. Just one hit. And that little notification bell next to it, just hit it as well so you'll be notified once the next video comes out. But back to this recording, I just added in some garlic and onion powder. I'm not really sure which one just went in, but or maybe it's just one in right now. It does look like a lot of seasoning on top, but once again, that's fine because this is a big cast iron pot. Not exactly sure the size of the pot, but y'all, it's a family cast iron pot, so it's pretty big. And I did eventually have to break it into 2 pots just because it was too much for this one pot. And I don't waste food in my house, y'all. That's not what we do. So that wasn't an option. Everything I had prepared or took out that day was going in this gumbo. And it's gumbo. It was nothing to add another pot. So right now I'm just adding some fresh parsley to it. And I'm finally adding in my Creole seasoning, y'all. Whichever Creole seasoning you have and you like, whatever your favorite one is, just throw it in there. Add it. And let all that sit and mix and marinate together in the pot before you start adding in your meat. Because, y'all, that flavor that the herbs, the Creole seasoning add is amazing. And that's what you want. You don't want no bland gumbo. You want flavorful gumbo. So right now I have added green onions and okra. I did not cook the okra prior to recording. I just cut it up and washed it because I want that slime that okra produces. So if you're familiar with okra and you eat okra, you know that it is slimy. And that slime also helps to thicken it. So yes, y'all, that's why I added it in at this moment because I'm getting ready to start adding in my meat. So my texture and my thickness needs to be here. So this is just a picture of what the pot looked like before the meat. Now I'm adding in just some crab legs. This is totally an optional thing. If you don't like crab legs, you don't have to add them. So Any of the meat you see me adding is optional. You can make any kind of gumbo you want. You can use any kind of meat you want. If you don't like seafood and you just like chicken and sausage gumbo it is. You don't have to use any of the ingredients that I use to make your gumbo. Just make sure your base and your root are the same, and that's all. And make sure you have that seasonings that will give it the gumbo taste. My video camera did die, so it missed the part of me adding in my chicken, and I couldn't wait to get it charged back up. So the chicken has been added, and I'm just gonna let that soak because the crab legs have been cooking in for about already 15 minutes, and now the sausages are going in, and I'm gonna let this cook all together about 15 minutes again. So it does take a while to cook it, y'all, just because you want everything to cook in and soak in and get all those flavors before you're just piling meat in. The video does look like I'm just piling meat in at once because, again, this is a over recording on it instead of real time. I just trimmed it down so it's not a super long video, but still, again, it's extremely helpful. So I'm gonna let this just sit and stir around in it just to make sure everything goes right. And at this moment, I realized, y'all, my pot was over full. So I do pause it and go take some of the stuff out, and it's fine too. So I'm just gonna stir around in it and just check it out. That's how everything looks. I'm gonna show y'all at the end, in the beginning, maybe I'm gonna include some pictures somewhere of the final look of everything, because right now it does not look as suspicious. It's suspicious is not the word, spectacular as it looks in the end. Right now the veggies or everything looks all green, and you can just tell that it's not done yet. So we don't want it like that, y'all. The end, I will show y'all how y'all want it. You want it to be nice, cooked in. When you pick up your meat, you will see the brown color. It will be like soaked into it just because it has cooked and sat for a while. Gumbo takes time. You can't rush perfection. You can't rush greatness. So let it be great, y'all. Let y'all food do it. It knows. As you see, now I have added in the shrimp. The shrimp are already peeled and deveined. I did that prior to recording. I added in my shrimp last because they cook fairly quickly and you don't want to overcook it. Y'all don't want no rubbery, nasty shrimp. I do use fresh shrimp, not the frozen kind. Whatever kind you use is up to you. Do what you do. I just prefer to peel my own and do it that way because it's me and my cooking time, and I be needing my me time. So y'all, this is what the pot looks like. So this is after it has started to boil, and y'all look at it, it's coming together, and this is what you want. You see that difference in that spoon and the first spoon of meat that I showed you guys? Look at the pot. This is real Louisiana gumbo, y'all. I am born, raised, and currently still live in Louisiana, so I know what I'm doing, y'all. Trust me. Your girl got you. Your gumbo will be bomb. I don't play. I do this cooking stuff. Like, it's just something that I've naturally been good at for a while. Ever since I was a girl, it's just a part of me. No, I don't go to culinary art school. No, I don't have that desire. I cook at home. I cook for my family. And that's just what I do. It's what I love to do. I'm my happiest doing things the way I want it done. I don't like by the book stuff. So y'all, this is coming to the end and it's almost done, and I just turned out the fire and this is what it looks like. Y'all, just look at it. All the meat, the veggies are all, you don't really see them no more because they're at the bottom of the pot and they're mixed in. You do see some, but all that seasoning and everything has also mixed in, both the dry seasoning and the onion powder and the herbs. And I'm just stirring around in it just to give y'all a look of what the pot looks like. Everything in here is done. I'm just letting it sit, and it is thick just like I like it, but it's gonna, as it cools, it's also gonna thicken up some more. So I'll show y'all what it looks like now. And y'all, this is the end results of my pot of seafood gumbo. Thank you guys for watching.